Men over 60, I want to share something with you today that may seem unusual at first, but stay with me because what I am about to reveal has changed the intimate lives of countless men who thought their best years were behind them. There is a specific point on your leg, a pressure point that when activated at just the right moment during intimacy can help you maintain control, extend your performance, and experience the kind of satisfaction you may not have felt in years. Now, this is not some modern invention. This is not a pharmaceutical trick. This is ancient wisdom, rooted in the body's own design. And when you understand how it works, you will see why it has been quietly passed down through generations of traditional medicine practitioners who understood the male body in ways that modern medicine is only now beginning to rediscover. For decades, I have worked with men who have struggled with premature release, with the frustration of wanting to please their partner, but feeling their body betray them at the worst possible moment. They have tried pills, creams, numbing sprays, and mental tricks, all with limited success and often unwanted side effects. But here is the truth that few are willing to share with you. Your body already has a built-in mechanism for controlling the timing of release. It is not broken, it simply needs to be activated. And one of the most powerful ways to activate this control is through a specific pressure point located on your inner leg, just above your ankle. This point, known in traditional Chinese medicine as the Sanyin-Jiao point, or spleen 6, has been used for centuries to regulate blood flow, calm the nervous system, and give men greater mastery over their intimate responses. Let me explain how this works, because understanding the mechanism is what gives you confidence in the method. When a man approaches climax, several things happen simultaneously in the body. Blood flow increases dramatically to the pelvic region. The sympathetic nervous system, which controls your fight or flight response, begins to take over. Muscle tension builds throughout the lower body, and a series of involuntary contractions begin that lead to ejaculation. Now, once this cascade truly begins, it is very difficult to stop, but there is a window. A brief moment before the point of no return, where applying pressure to this specific leg point can interrupt the signal, calm the nervous system, and give you back control. The Sanyin-Jiao point sits approximately 4 finger widths above your inner ankle bone, right along the edge of your shin bone. When you press firmly on this spot during intimacy, particularly as you feel yourself approaching climax, you are essentially sending a counter signal to your nervous system. You are activating parasympathetic pathways that help slow your heart rate, reduce muscle tension, and delay the ejaculatory reflex. Think of it like tapping the brakes on a car that is accelerating too quickly. You are not stopping the journey. You are simply giving yourself more control over the speed. Now, this technique works best when combined with conscious breathing and a calm mental state, but the physical pressure point itself is remarkably effective even on its own. I have heard from men in their 60s and 70s who discovered this method and reported being able to extend their intimate encounters from just a few minutes to 20 minutes or more. And the beauty of this approach is that it requires no preparation, no pills, no planning ahead. Your body is always ready because the mechanism is already built in. But let me be clear about something. This pressure point technique is not magic. It is physiology. And like any skill, it improves with practice. The first few times you try this, you may find the timing tricky. You may press too late or not firmly enough. But as you become familiar with your body's signals and learn to recognize that crucial moment just before the point of no return, you will develop an intuitive sense of when and how to apply the pressure. And that is when this technique becomes truly transformative. There is another element to this that I want you to understand. As men age, particularly after 60, the nervous system can become either overly sensitive or somewhat dulled, depending on overall health, stress levels, and lifestyle factors. For some men, this means they reach climax too quickly because their nervous system is in a constant state of high alert. For others, it means they struggle to reach climax at all because the signals have become weakened. This pressure point technique addresses both issues because it helps regulate the nervous system rather than simply suppressing or stimulating it. It brings balance, and balance is what the aging body needs most. Now, I want to share with you exactly how to locate and use this point effectively because precision matters here. Sit comfortably and place 4 fingers horizontally across your inner ankle, starting from the highest point of your ankle bone. The Sanyin Jiao point is located right at the top edge of your 4th finger, along the back border of your shin bone. When you press on this spot with moderate to firm pressure, you may feel a slight tenderness or a dull ache. That is how you know you have found the right location. Some men find it helpful to practice locating this point several times outside of intimate moments, so that when the time comes, they can find it quickly and instinctively. During intimacy, when you begin to feel yourself approaching climax, use your thumb to apply firm, steady pressure to this point. Hold the pressure for 10 to 15 seconds while simultaneously taking slow, deep breaths. Many men find it helpful to pause movement entirely during this time, which also allows their partner to adjust and can build anticipation in a pleasurable way. After 15 seconds, you can release the pressure and resume activity. If you find yourself approaching climax again too quickly, simply repeat the process. There is no limit to how many times you can use this technique during a single encounter. One of the questions I often hear is whether this technique interferes with pleasure or sensation, and the answer is no, not when done correctly. What you are doing is extending the plateau phase of arousal, that delicious period of high excitement before climax. By giving yourself more time in this phase, you actually increase overall pleasure for both you and your partner. You are not numbing yourself or disconnecting from sensation. You are simply gaining mastery over timing. Now, there is a complementary technique that can enhance the effectiveness of this pressure point method, and it involves strengthening the pelvic floor muscles, specifically the pubococcygeus muscle or PC muscle. This is the muscle you use to stop the flow of urine midstream. When this muscle is strong, you have much greater control over ejaculation because it is directly involved in the contractions that lead to release. Strengthening this muscle is simple. Several times throughout the day, practice contracting this muscle as if you were stopping urination. Hold the contraction for 3 to 5 seconds, then release. Repeat this 10 to 15 times. Over the course of several weeks, you will notice a significant improvement in your ability to control the timing of climax, and when combined with the pressure point technique, the results can be remarkable. There is also a nutritional component to ejaculatory control that many men overlook. The nervous system requires specific nutrients to function optimally, and deficiencies in certain minerals can contribute to premature ejaculation or difficulty maintaining control. Magnesium, in particular, plays a crucial role in regulating nerve signals and muscle contractions. Many men over 60 are deficient in magnesium without realizing it. This mineral is depleted by stress, poor diet, certain medications, and simply the aging process itself. By ensuring adequate magnesium intake, either through foods like pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, and dark chocolate, or through supplementation, you support your nervous system's ability to regulate arousal and response. Zinc is another critical nutrient for male sexual function and control. This mineral is essential for testosterone production, prostate health, and the proper functioning of the reproductive system. Men lose zinc through ejaculation, so sexually active men have higher zinc requirements than those who are not. Brazil nuts, oysters, beef, and pumpkin seeds are excellent sources of zinc. Just 2 Brazil nuts per day can provide your daily selenium needs, which works synergistically with zinc to support hormonal balance and sexual function. Let me also address the psychological component of premature ejaculation, because this is often overlooked but critically important. Performance anxiety, stress, and the fear of disappointing a partner can all trigger the sympathetic nervous system, which speeds up the ejaculatory response. Many men enter intimate moments already in a state of nervous tension, which makes control nearly impossible, regardless of what physical techniques they employ. This is where breath work becomes invaluable. Before intimacy, spend 5 minutes practicing slow, deep breathing. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 6. This simple practice activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest response, which naturally counteracts the anxiety-driven sympathetic response. When you enter intimacy in a calm, grounded state, your body is already primed for greater control. Another powerful approach is to reframe your understanding of intimacy itself. Many men, particularly as they age, become fixated on the act of penetration and the timing of ejaculation as the measure of success. But intimacy is so much more than this. It is connection, presence, touch, communication, and shared pleasure. When you expand your definition of successful intimacy to include all of these elements, the pressure to perform in a specific way diminishes. And paradoxically, when the pressure diminishes, control often improves naturally. Your body relaxes, your nervous system calms, and you find yourself able to sustain arousal for longer periods without force or struggle. Now, I want to share a practice that combines the pressure point technique with breath work and mindful awareness, creating a holistic approach to ejaculatory control. Begin your intimate encounter with 5 minutes of slow, connected breathing with your partner. Synchronize your breath if possible. This creates nervous system coherence and builds a foundation of calm. As arousal builds, maintain awareness of your breath and your body's signals. When you notice yourself approaching a 7 or 8 out of 10 on the arousal scale, apply pressure to the Sanyin-Jiao point while taking 3 slow, deep breaths. This combination of physical pressure, breath control, and mindful awareness gives you multiple layers of control and can extend your intimate encounters significantly. Over the course of several weeks of practicing this technique, you will likely notice something remarkable. Your baseline level of control will improve even without using the pressure point. This is because you are training your nervous system to respond differently to arousal. You are creating new neural pathways that support greater mastery over your sexual response. And this is the true power of natural techniques. They do not just provide temporary relief. They actually retrain and strengthen the body's own regulatory systems. I have seen men in their late 60s and early 70s completely transform their intimate lives using these methods. Men who had resigned themselves to quick encounters or avoiding intimacy altogether because of embarrassment. Men who had tried every pharmaceutical option with limited success or unwanted side effects. When they discovered the combination of pressure point activation, pelvic floor strengthening, proper nutrition, and nervous system regulation, they found a level of control and confidence they had not experienced in decades. And this confidence extended beyond the bedroom. It affected their overall sense of vitality, their relationship satisfaction, and their self-image as men. One thing I want to emphasize is that this is not about performance for performance's sake. This is about reclaiming your body's natural capabilities and experiencing intimacy in a way that is satisfying and fulfilling for both you and your partner. When you have control over the timing of climax, intimacy becomes less stressful and more enjoyable. You can focus on connection rather than worrying about whether your body will cooperate. And this shift in focus often leads to deeper, more meaningful, intimate experiences. Now, let me address a concern that some men have. They worry that delaying ejaculation might be harmful or that it interferes with the body's natural processes. This is not the case. What you are doing is simply extending the arousal phase, which is entirely natural and healthy. In fact, traditional Taoist practices have long emphasized the benefits of prolonged arousal and controlled ejaculation for male vitality and longevity. These practices recognize that the male body has tremendous capacity for extended pleasure when the nervous system is properly regulated and the pelvic floor is strong. As you begin implementing these techniques, be patient with yourself. Change takes time, especially when you are retraining deeply ingrained physiological responses. Some men notice improvement within a week or two. Others take a month or more. But the key is consistency. Practice locating the pressure point daily so it becomes second nature. Perform your pelvic floor exercises regularly. Maintain proper nutrition to support nervous system health. And approach intimacy with a calm, present mindset rather than performance anxiety. If you found this information valuable, I encourage you to share it with other men who may be struggling with similar challenges. So many men suffer in silence with these issues, believing they are alone or that nothing can be done. But the truth is that the body has remarkable capacity for change and improvement at any age when given the right support and knowledge. And if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing so you can continue learning about natural approaches to health and vitality that honor your body's wisdom rather than overriding it with artificial interventions. Your intimate life does not have to decline with age. Yes, things change as we grow older. Our bodies require more attention, more care, more conscious support. But decline is not inevitable. With the right knowledge and practices, you can maintain and even enhance your intimate capabilities well into your later years. The pressure point technique I have shared with you today is just one tool in a larger toolkit of natural approaches to male vitality. When combined with proper nutrition, stress management, physical conditioning, and a healthy mindset, it becomes part of a comprehensive approach to aging with strength, confidence, and joy. Remember, your body was designed with wisdom. It has mechanisms for control, for healing, for vitality that simply need to be activated and supported. Trust in this wisdom. Be patient with the process, and know that it is never too late to reclaim the intimate life you desire and deserve.